So welcome to tonight's episode of Real People. Now later we will be joined by John Clark from the Mummers Theatre Group, and he'll be telling us about how the Mummers have survived during the COVID crisis and their future plans. But before we do that, we are joined by Chris and Suzanne Volosik from Picture You Photography. Now the guys have a rather worrying story about Facebook. We're going to find out a little bit about what's happened to them actually only last week, is that right? So thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So what exactly happened with your Facebook page? Now this is your business Picture You Facebook page.
100%, yeah. Basically, it started about a month ago, to be fair. Normal day, average day, get up in the morning, as probably everyone does, gets up in the morning, first thing they do is have a look on Facebook, see what's happening. And I got a message from my friend, a private message to say, I think you've been hacked. I said, nah, I'm fine, I was on it a minute ago. And Suzanne went to check the messages for our business, and we couldn't get access to it. It was gone. My page was completely gone, so mine was blocked completely, my own private page. Right. But that's obviously attached to the business page. And Suzanne then went to go back in to check some messages, because we had some messages from customers that we were in the middle of dealing with. Gone. The whole thing was just closed. So obviously panic immediately. We just couldn't get access to anything. Now, the problem with that is we have over 2,000 people that we're dealing with, and we've got all sorts of customers who've sent us various messages that were still mid-conversation, almost mid-sealing the deal, if you like, with bookings, etc. And it was just gone in a flash like that. So we were really panicking, starting to panic. And first thing we do is, right, what's the first thing you're going to do is try and contact Facebook. And that's what the whole frustrating thing to this whole story is we just could not contact these people. No chance at all of contacting anyone on Facebook. Yep. So, I mean, I could feel the blood draining out me. I was just, what are we going to do here? This is something we've built up for years. Had the page probably since the start of Facebook, but originally it's been really kicking off in the past 5 years. So we've spent 5 years working at this, and as quick as that, bang, somebody hit a button. And what had happened was we had been hacked. At that stage, we just couldn't tell what had happened, and it just kept coming up a message, something to do with due to restrictions or something that we had, like, how did they word it again? Do you remember how they worded it?
Can't remember exactly. No. There's been that many messages.
I know, there's been messages back and forth, but due to certain laws, restrictions against Facebook, we had broken all laws, and as a result, the page was closed. Now we need to get somebody. So we tried to contact them, couldn't get them at all, couldn't get anyone. So eventually, Suzanne had got someone in a message, and we even trying to speak to these people. It was almost like an automated service, you know, just chatting to them online, just sitting there. I don't want to do that. I need to pick the phone up and speak to a human being and explain, we've just lost our business. This is our livelihood we've lost. Nothing.
I'm sure there's many people in the past that have had issues. And
well, exactly.
See, when you think about it as well, a company that takes money off of businesses to advertise, and there's no one there to deal with you if there's anything wrong. Now that is quite worrying, isn't it?
Yep.
And we spoke about it earlier, billions of pounds they make.
Yep.
And surely they can afford to pay staff to actually be at the other end of a phone when you're giving them money to promote a business.
Well, the thing was, at that point, we didn't know like that all these people had been added on as admin. It was only, I think it was in the afternoon, I had got a notification to say that your ad was running or scheduled. And I thought, I've not got any ads running, like, or you only get that message if you've updated it. And I managed to click on it, and it took me in, and there was 4 adverts for these leg massagers. And then we could see that there was 16 people added on as admin and analysts. So I went back to this person that I had been chatting to, but I managed to delete the adverts at that point. But I think the whole problem has been this advert is still floating about out there with our name on it. And possibly that's why they've unpublished our page, because somebody's reported it, even though that they can see that it's nothing to do with us. I've sent them the link to the advert, I've sent them screenshots with all these people, but you're just hitting your head against a brick wall.
You were even getting the phone calls for these leg massagers as well, weren't you? So
yeah,
that's it. And one of the people that actually were added on as an admin had the cheek to phone that night to say that they'd been added as an admin, and is there anything that they could do? So I just said it had been reported to the police.
So I says it's almost the modern day equivalent of having your house broken into, and then they chat the door and go, I forgot to take the house keys. Can you give me the house keys, please? Thanks very much. And I'll come back later on and do it again. Because that's exactly what happened. They did it again. But the thing before that, Suzanne just happened to say to me, you better check your bank. I said, well, okay, I checked the bank. And sure enough, there was 2 payments come off for £210 was one of them, and £220. And basically, we think this is actually where it all stemmed from, because it's too coincidental. It happened exactly the same day, where it was basically through Google Play to get in, and it looked as though I had downloaded 2 apps, which I've never even heard of. One was called 12. The other app was called Mind Over Matter or something. I thought it was that name trying to tell us something. But for a weekly fee of £220 and 210 or something like that a week.
So if you hadn't gone into your bank when you did, that could have...
That was continued. Well, actually what happened was, and here's the thing that blew me away, because I never knew this, unless I'm stupid and everybody knows this, I never knew this. So basically what happened was, straight onto the bank, phoned the bank, asked them, look, explained the situation, told them, look, we've just had Facebook hacked. Can you please, this is fraud. So I had to speak to a fraud team on the bank, through my bank. They said, right, okay, we'll report it, don't worry about it, we'll give you your money back, it's fine, it's okay. It's not okay, but okay, fair enough, I'm getting my money back, that's fine. They then said, right, we'll get a card sent to you, and you should have your new bank card and that sent out within the next 24 hours or whatever. So that's fine. A couple of days later, the bank card comes through. I've got my new bank card, that's fine, I'm happy with that. But what I didn't realise is, it automatically updates through Facebook and through any of your Google Play. Now, I don't know how that works.
They Facebook contact your bank. If you've, like I cancelled my cards because obviously the payments for the adverts had come out that they had been running. And when I noticed that the payment had come out after the new card had arrived, and they said, oh yeah, it's through your new card. Facebook automatically contact us for your new updated details. So they'll allow the payment.
Authorise it and give it out, and that's it, and it starts again. Because that was the thing that these guys had set up an advert. Now, normally we had an advert, 2 adverts running at £35 each a month.
Yep.
These guys had set up an advert for this device, this leg massage device, £300 a day, hitting the world. So so every time people see an advert and they go, oh, that looks great, £20 for a set of weights, I'll buy that. No, that's somebody's account that's just been hacked. And you bet your bottom dollar they're having the exact same problem as what we're having. Because then that was named now through Suzanne's account, and they had set £300 a day up through that. So £500 from my account, £300 almost a day from Suzanne's account. Mind blowing. And Facebook, nobody wanted to speak to you. They do, but it's a machine, so you don't even know if you're speaking to a human. And it keeps saying, because this is the thing that keeps saying, if you go into this link, follow this link, and you know, but the link's connected to your page, so you can't get in. So the link's actually connected to your Facebook page that they've just shut down, that you can't get access to. And still just now, today, my page has never been renewed. I've never been able to get back on again. I had to open a brand new account. We had to open a brand new Facebook page, which is why we called it Ending It in Loch Lomond. We had to do that and start again, completely start again. And it's just terrible.
Well, obviously we had to get a new phone number as well, because that was the next thing that happened, was they obviously got the phone number from our business page. I don't know what or how, whatever it is they were doing, but I started receiving phone calls from people saying that they had missed a call. I've never made the call. So that happened about 6 times. And then I contacted Vodafone. They did say to go to the police, but I don't know what the police could do.
Do you know, it is worrying, because I have heard of that, these instances when people are actually cloning numbers as well. So anyone can use any number and make it look as if it's coming from that. That's worrying as well, isn't it?
Well, that was the next stage. It's almost as though they had took all our information and sold it on and started passing it on, and that's the next stage, was a call centre was now using my number, that sort of thing. Just, I never experienced anything quite like that. I mean, as I said, it's a modern day version of just having your property broken into. It's the same thing. To me, it's the same, if not worse.
And we think this is stemmed from probably from your own Facebook page, Chris. Is that where it's all began? So basically, someone's hacked into that, then through your own Facebook into the business Facebook.
Yep.
Got all the financials, used the adverts.
Yep. And it just shows, because there's a thing there that I personally didn't know about, and yet I spoke to a friend the other day, and he says, "Oh yeah, I know about this." Two-step verification.
Yep.
I didn't really know much about two-step. Maybe I should, in hindsight, the fact that we're running a business, and we probably should know about that. But now everything, I mean, even down to the app in my bank, I have now got that. Every single direct debit that's set up, I have to put a code in to authorise that. You can go into your bank and do that in the app, within the app. Now, I had never seen this before, didn't know it existed. And you can set up a code that you put in, and any payment, any direct debits, anything you have to do that. Even we were ordering food the other night, and I still had to send the link to authorise the code taking it in. And now we do that, and it's the same with this two-step verification for anything at all. Everything has got that on it, and everybody has to get that set up. That's something you should just, because I said I hadn't thought about it, and I said my mate, I was telling him, and he said, "Yeah, I know about it, but I've never really bothered."
Well, I set it up on WhatsApp the other night as well. You can do that two-step on that. So
there's a message in that. So if you've got any of these social media accounts, bank accounts, whatever, always set up your two-step verification.
100%. It's got to be done. That's the first thing you do. And I don't even know if it would have helped, because I think these guys were above and beyond that possibly, but at least we might have had a code or something might have contacted us to say somebody's trying to get into your account. The problem is, as well, is it happens during the night. While we were in bed, this happened, when we got up, and it was done. And that's the problem. How are you meant to control that? He made 118 billion in a week in profit margins in 1 week on the 1st of May. So whilst we're in the middle of losing practically everything, all our finance, the law, business, everything, he just made 118 billion, and he doesn't have a call centre.
Yep.
Suzanne was in the shops the other day, and she was telling the girl that was serving her, the pal that was serving her, and a woman behind her said, "I'm sorry, I heard your conversation there, you know." Same thing happened to my daughter as well, lost her business.
I think the main thing, although, I mean, you got the money was taken out your account, you got the money back
We
through
did.
the bank, because that was covered. But the
Yep.
main thing is basically you have lost all your followers, all
Yep.
your testimonials,
Yep.
everything you've worked over the years to build up, to have a vision of that visible thing on Facebook saying this is how successful we are, this is all our customers, this is what they say about us, all gone. Just like
Because the
that.
thing is as well, just literally the other week, there was a couple came in, we were sitting chatting to, and I asked them, I always ask, how did you hear about us? I'm always curious. And they said, somebody told us about us, so we read your reviews, and the minute we read your reviews, we wanted to book you. We literally have spent, how long is that now, a week, 2 weeks? We have spent frantically trying to catch the customers that previously left. We've still got contacts for them, we still do have email addresses and stuff, and trying to contact them and say, look, I hope you don't mind, but can you go on and give us another review that you gave us the last time, because we need to start again, do you mind? And the support has been great, I have to say, everybody. I mean, within a week we had something like nearly 500 likes already, and it's very quickly starting to come on again. Good. So and long may it continue and start again. But yeah, it's been extremely daunting, to say the least.
What's your new page?
it's Picture You Photography, Loch Lomond.
So give the page a like if you're still on Facebook, that is.
I know, I've no frightened you to
After
Facebook.
But this is an ongoing saga, so we don't know how things are. So we'll keep you up to date with that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you will hear from a person at Facebook. Is anyone from Facebook listening?
Aye.
A real person?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Aye, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep, aye. So hopefully they'll be in touch and they will reinstate your old page and even maybe integrate it all again and get all your likes and
That's all we
testimonials
want.
back.
I mean, we've actually said that to them. If they can give us 24 hours to do that and just integrate it and just be happy with that. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch this space.
Aye, watch this space. See what happens.
So we'll keep our fingers crossed for you. So thanks so much for coming on to the show
problem, thank you.
and keep us up to date with things.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
So Chris and Suzanne, thank you. So thanks to Chris and Suzanne Volosik for coming on to Real People. And next up, we will be joined by John Clark from the Mummers Theatre Group. But before we do that, here is a little song I recorded myself.
Oh, Bonnie Scotland, my heart Scotland, to you I shall be true. No matter what I do or where I have to be. Oh, bonny Scotland, you belong to me. From the sights of Glencoe to the depths of Loch Ness, this is my country, I have to confess. The castles that stand on top of a hill watch over the land, so peaceful and still. The pipers are playing the powerful songs from Highland Cathedral to the Skyboat Song. Loch Lomond is calling by yon bonny banks. This is my country, the land I must thank. Oh, bonny Scotland, my heart belongs to you. Oh, bonny Scotland, to you I shall be true. No matter what I do or where I have to be. Oh, bonny Scotland, you belong to me. Pipers are playing the powerful songs from Highland Cathedral to the Skyboat Song. Loch Lomond is calling by yon bonny banks. This is my country, the land I must thank. Oh, bonny Scotland, my heart belongs to you. Oh, bonny Scotland, to you I shall be true. No matter what I do or where I have to be. Oh, bonny Scotland, you belong to me. Oh, bonny Scotland, you belong to me.
Our next guest on Real People tonight is John Clark, and he is the president of the Mummers Theatre Group. How you doing, John?
I'm good, Jim. Thank you for having me.
So, like everyone, things have been totally different for the past year. So what's that been like for the Mummers Theatre Group, John?
It has been a struggle, let's be honest. We were in the throes of rehearsing a major show this time last year, and that's when the plug was pulled. And we actually pulled the plug in our own rehearsals because we couldn't see a way forward to go and sell tickets for a production in May.
Yep.
So we did pull the production about halfway through our rehearsals, and actually just about a couple of days before national lockdown. And since then, it's all been quiet.
So what was the show?
We were in rehearsal for Sister Act. This followed on immediately, or pretty soon after, we'd had a really successful production of Chicago.
Yeah.
in the Denny Civic, and that was a year past in November, and the club was very much on a high with a cast of 40 people. We sold out.
Sell out every night, wasn't it?
We,
just
we
about?
sold
Yeah.
out every night, and go on, let's brag. We had standing ovations and all that. So we were on a real high as a club, and we chose to do Sister Act because we thought we were hoping to repeat that sort of success and provide, you know, the kind of entertainment that the people at Dumbarton and surrounding areas seem to enjoy. You know, something that was going to involve us all, and so we were having a great time. Rehearsals were going well, and then of course all this happened. We had all cast and we were all singing, all dancing, and jazz hands, and and the costumes were getting prepared, and we were working on the music, and it was all looking and sounding really good. But more importantly, as a club, we were having great fun. But this was hanging over us, this COVID, and we were all thinking, do you know what, we need to start selling tickets. Who's going to buy tickets when we can't guarantee, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So we had a hard decision to make, and we decided, do you know what, we're kind of kidding ourselves on here. So we pulled the plug, and actually it just happened 2 days before national lockdown.
And actually, even worse than Mummers, going to another club, CMS, were actually Clydebank Musical Society.
Oh,
they were
absolutely.
actually ready to go on stage.
They had completed their dress rehearsal
Yep.
on the Tuesday night or whatever, and were ready to open the Wednesday,
And that's
it
when
was
everything
pulled.
closed down.
So they were all set to go. Tickets sold, everything. So
Ah.
we were fortunate. Let's be honest, things have changed over the last 2-3 days, and things are moving and a wee bit more optimistic all of a sudden. I've had my vaccine, a lot of people have had the vaccine, maybe some of the second, and that is going to make a huge difference. But what are we going to go back to?
Yep.
We're relying on the Denny Civic, intimating that it's going to be open. We're relying also on rehearsal studios. We currently rehearse in the Napier Hall in Oaklepatrick, which is a community council hall, and we also have a church hall which we use for rehearsals. Now, whether they'll be opening or whether there'll be further restrictions put on them to make them COVID immune or whatever, we don't know. So we may be looking for rehearsal studios, but we're also looking for the Denny Civic and the District Council to give us a green light.
Yep.
What I do fear is, of course, that even although we're given a green light and we can maybe go ahead with putting on some form of production, say in November of this year, that there may be too many restrictions that will make it financially impossible for us to justify it. I mean, if they say you can only sell a third or a half of the seating capacity, well, we're an amateur group, we don't have that kind of financial backing, so we wouldn't be able to put on a show to the standard we want to put it on.
I mean, most shows for amateur theatre clubs do run at a loss, don't they, John? So I don't
We
think it's a
budget for
profitable
making
thing.
a manageable loss.
Yep.
And
that's
then
going-
in Chicago, for the first time we made a profit. It wasn't a huge profit, let's be honest, but hey,
Sold out,
we
so-
were patting ourselves in the back and giving it mega whoopies, you know, that we actually made money on a show, because we spend most of our year doing fundraising
to make the show happen.
to pay for a show.
Yep.
To allow us to do it the way we want to have the costumes we want, have the lighting we want, have a proper set, because we don't like to skimp. If we're selling tickets to the public, we want it to be the best show we can put on. So, so that's kind of our ethos. So we're prepared to take a manageable loss on each show if we can finance it during the course of the year.
Yeah, and of course that depends, as you said earlier, on numbers, and if numbers are restricted, that's going to cause some issues with
That's
shows.
exactly it, Jim, because I mean, if we're only going to get half the income from the show, that's a huge deficit to
that's
to
quite
meet.
a loss, isn't it?
So
So fingers crossed. We don't
Fingers
know
crossed.
how restrictions are going to go by the time, because I think the theatre's booked in November, isn't it? For
we have booked the theatre in November. Yeah, we've booked the theatre in November. But we've booked the theatre several times during the past year and cancelled. So every time we thought, well, maybe we'll just aim it in about 3 months' time, we'll have a booking there. And but these bookings have come and gone without there being a show.
So back to the Mummers in general. So I've taken away from the show side of things. So obviously it's a great outlet for people that want to act or have a go at singing or being on stage. So how would they go about it if they want to join the Mummers, John?
Right, we're open to anybody. You don't have to be the world's best singer or the world's best actor or performer or whatever. We do, again, pride ourselves in not just putting stars at the front of the stage. It's very important to us that the whole chorus is involved. So if you want to become involved, either on stage or backstage or whatever, just contact us through Facebook.
Is that Mummers Theatre Group? isn't
Mummers
it?
Theatre Group.
Yep.
So the message will eventually come through to one or two of us,
You'll see that on the screen.
and we'll respond that. Okay. So yeah. So if you've got any interest in it at all, then please feel free to get in touch, and we'll talk you through it. And we'd love to have you along at the first available opportunity and just see what we do and come along and join us and be part of it.
I think the main rehearsal nights are a Thursday night. That's the main one, isn't it?
Thursday night has historically been that is set in stone.
Yeah.
But if you're involved in a show with us, the chances are there will be a Sunday afternoon perhaps rehearsal, as well as the Thursday night rehearsal. And if you get a main lead part, then you may be called out nearer the show date. So it's quite a commitment, but trust me, it really is worth doing. The one thing that ties us all together is that we all come from different backgrounds, different priorities, other hobbies, and but the one thing that binds us together is our love of theatre.
Yep. Performance. The
Performance
buzz of it, the
and
camaraderie
musical
between
theatre. And it also leads on to most of us, the majority of our social life is also linked to club membership.
Yep.
Because you get to know people pretty well when you're on stage, and it's the perfect example of teamwork, because you rely on that other guy to make you look good on stage. We don't really encourage divas or too much. Inevitably, we all are one, hands up, guilty as charged probably, to be fair. But yeah, it is very much a team effort, and we're only as good as the whole ensemble.
People say, for example, oh no, I'm too old for this, or I'm too young for this. Theatre's all about having a broad kind of spectrum of different people in everyday life as well. I mean, it's a show, it's a place. You're not going to have a theatre that's just full
Correct.
of young and middle-aged people, so you do need a spectrum of different ages.
It's
so
very
important.
much about confidence levels and instilling confidence in people, and making sure that if they want to do it, let's enable them to do it.
Yep.
Chicago, if you take that as a show, people know Chicago as a show that maybe has very much a dancey show, etc. So they're visions of this small limited cast that are excellent dancers or whatever. We had 38 people on stage. And we get standing ovations because everybody was on there. They're all singing, all dancing, all being part of the ensemble. It was all jazz hands and smiles, and the audience loved it. And we have a very loyal audience locally, but they're only going to be loyal to us if we put on a good show. So we have a responsibility to put on a good show each time, and we would not sell tickets if we weren't confident in that.
Yep.
So when our crystal ball tells us that we can get back, and we get a call from
Still
the
no
council and
pops
say,
up yet, it'll be
come down to the Denny Civic, the doors are open, then we will do whatever we can. But we would hope that we'll get the public support, because the whole nature of amateur groups is we can't exist unless we have a reason to exist, and we depend on an audience. And so bear with us, everybody out there. If you see us advertising a show, please come along and support us, because we need your support. And if you support us, then we'll put on as good a show as we can possibly do. Otherwise, local theatre will just die.
Yep, that's important. I think another important thing about the Mummers is as well that it is a registered charity, and it's non-profit. So basically, there's
Absolutely non-profit.
Yep.
We are a registered charity which entitles us to certain benefits, whatever, but we don't make a profit on this, and everything is popped back in. And we try to do a bit for the community as well.
Yep. There's been lots
Very
of
much.
causes that the Mummers have helped over the years.
We-
with the Beats and
We have regular charitable
Yep.
causes which we support on an annual basis. And we do
Yeah.
local charities as well as national charities. And also, but that's basically what we try to do. It's all about being part of the community, being involved in the community, providing a service for the community.
Yep.
That's what it's about.
Great. So again, if you're interested in joining the Mummers Theatre Group, it's Facebook at Mummers Theatre Group. You can also give John, the president, here a call as well.
Please
I'm sure he's
do.
happy to talk. There's always members available to persuade you to come along and things as well. So if you know anyone, just have a word with them. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, there will be a show in November. Restrictions permitting.
I am not going to promise, but that is certainly our intention. That's
Yeah.
certainly our intention. The show will go on
It will indeed.
in some form or other.
So John, thanks for coming along tonight
worries.
and speaking to us, and
Thank you,
best
Jim.
of luck with everything. And hopefully we'll see you in November.
And good luck with you. Break a leg and all that.
Thank
All
you, you too.
Cheers.